So after 8 games of not captaining his team, Chennai Super Kings, MS Dhoni was made captain once again. That after Ravindra Jadeja relinquished his captaincy. So what happened in the first game that MS Dhoni captained his side? Well, of course, the Chennai Super Kings won. The 9th game, they now have 3 wins, even though them reaching the playoffs still might look next to impossible. But one great thing apart from them winning happens when MS Dhoni is captain, that you get to hear a few gems in the post-match press conference, and that is what we got to hear. So he's given some sort of an insight of what must have happened, how it was when Ravindra Jadeja was captain, what was MS Dhoni's role, what was going behind the scenes, who was taking the decisions. So all those things he's thrown some light on, and we'll try and discuss that in this video. The first thing that you've realized listening to MS Dhoni is he actually gave an insight of what he's thinking when the bowlers are bowling and what he actually tells his bowlers in crunch situation. Now, one thing we've often heard from a lot of people saying that how is it that the same bowlers, when they play under MS Dhoni's captaincy, tend to perform much better when they're playing for any other franchise? Well, maybe some of those things is because he breaks it down so well for their bowlers. One thing that he mentioned in the post-match press conference in that game versus Chennai versus SRH, he says, I always tell my bowlers, you may get hit for 4 or 6s in an over, but the 2 balls that you save ultimately in a high scoring game, those are the 2 deliveries that will help you win the game. I don't know if they believe in that theory, but that really works. So what he's effectively trying to tell his bowlers, it's okay to get hit for 4s and 6s, that will happen in a T20 game, but don't give up on that over so soon. 1 or 2 good deliveries where you give less runs, or if they are dot balls, that will play a major role in his team winning a match. So he breaks it down for his bowlers. While most other captains might panic with 3 or 4 boundaries in an over, what MS is telling, he doesn't panic there. He wants his bowler to give him 2-3 good balls that will have an impact. So this is what he tells his bowler. There's some sort of an insight what MS must be telling his bowlers and why those bowlers are successful under him. The other that he talks about is now the captaincy transition between him and Ravindra Jadeja. He said in the post-match press conference that once you become captain, it means a lot of demands come in, but it affected his mind as the task grew. I think captaincy burdened his prep and performances. Now he tells you why is it that Chennai Super Kings decided that MS Dhoni will captain again, because Chennai Super Kings wanted Ravindra Jadeja the player, and MS said that they realized that it was taking a toll on Ravindra Jadeja's performances. You could clearly see that as well. Ravindra Jadeja, and he was very different when he was playing for India just before the IPL, was in tremendous form both with the ball and the bat, but when it came to the IPL with that burden of captaincy, his own performance was going down. So that is a clear reason why the captaincy switch happened again, and MS made it very clear. What is the other thing that he tells you? He says, between me and Jadeja, he knew last season itself that he will be given a chance to captain this year. He knew and got enough time to prepare. I wanted that transition to happen. So what he's telling effectively, while most people would have found out right at the 11th hour that MS Dhoni is not going to captain, Ravindra Jadeja was told in advance. However, I'm going to add a few things. What we had heard from the CSK camp much before the season, that yes, Jadeja was going to be captain, but it may have happened in mid-season. So he's not clarified whether the plan was to give him in mid-season or at the start, but what he does say is that Jadeja was told in advance that he's going to be captain, so he had enough time to prepare also. It wasn't just suddenly given it to him. He had enough time to prepare. That's another matter. It didn't quite work out for Ravindra Jadeja, the captain. And finally, now, because there was a lot of debate that many pointed out that while Jadeja may have been captain, it was MS Dhoni who was taking all the calls. Well, he's told us what actually was happening behind the scenes. He says in the first 2 games, there was information going in towards Jaddu, and after that, I left it for him to decide which angle to bowl and all that. At the end of the season, you don't want him to feel as the captaincy was done by someone else and I'm just going to go for toss. Spoon feeding doesn't really help a captain. So, for those of you who are wondering who is the real captain, MS has pointed out that in those 8 games, it's quite possible that it was the first 2 games where MS Dhoni was trying to help Jadeja. That was primarily because it was his first time as captain. Remember, Jadeja had never captained before, not even his state side. He just had 1 or 2 games at the under 19 level, if I remember correctly. So there was some sort of feedback that MS was giving Jadeja. But at the end of the day, after those first two games, every other match, MS Dhoni has made it clear that Jadeja was really the captain, because he thought there's never a good thing in spoon feeding a captain. Eventually they must also be wanting to see how Jadeja goes as captain, because if MS Dhoni continue to spoon feed him, how would you really know what Jadeja as captain is like? So after those two games, he took a back seat and did not spoon feed Ravindra Jadeja, and that just kind of tells you, I know a lot of people might point out that you saw MS Dhoni directing the traffic from behind the stumps, but that could also possibly be because he's a wicket keeper, and wicket keeper tend to do, let's take the Indian team for an example. You often see Rishabh Pant directing the traffic from behind the stump, but that doesn't mean that he's captaining in place of a Virat Kohli or Rohit Sharma, and that is exactly what MS Dhoni was doing. So this is some sort of an insight where MS Dhoni has given us what has transpired in the last few days as far as the entire captaincy saga of CSK is concerned. As I said, one good thing apart from CSK winning with MS coming back as captain is also the fact that you get to hear such gems. As one of our subscriber pointed out during our live sessions, it wasn't just MS Dhoni's gems that we got to hear. Maybe MS Dhoni would also make a great TED Talk speaker. Thanks so much for joining us in this particular edition of our video. Subscribe to Sports Today for more such content.